Most people believe they need to heal in order to thrive, but the truth is you need to thrive in order to heal. If your suffering has become automatic, if you find yourself saying, I am anxious or I am angry, then the pattern is hardwired in your body. You cannot think your way out of an embodied problem. You need an embodied aliveness that is greater than the energy of the problem. Today, I'm teaching you the clearing nectars exercise. It is a physical protocol to drop the glues of misery and take your power back. Let's begin. The clearing nectar exercise: resolve, release, radiate. The orientation one must be coming from to gain the results of freedom, clarity, and choice is that we must be committed to a better future to be free from this misery. One, you are committed to letting suffering go now, even if you've been tormented by it for 50 years, and even if it's tied to a condition that is not going away, like a disease or a circumstance outside of your control. Two, you are committed not only for your own benefit and freedom and misery, but you also have activated inside of you a passion and a vigor that would free everyone, everywhere, in every time from this suffering if you could. Would you inflict this suffering on a child, or would you take it away if you could? On an elder? On someone on their deathbed? On innocence? Would you want your child to be indoctrinated with this pattern of suffering that you seem unable to outgrow? Three, your body is innocent. Your child is innocent. Your parents or the other people who indoctrinated you were most likely innocent and well-intentioned, yet your innocent body experiences the effects of you reacting this pattern of suffering over and over and over again in different ways throughout your entire life. Are you going to die with this pattern in play? Are you going to pass it on to others? You have to arouse your passion to say no. Would you protect your innocent body from this harm? Would you eradicate this misery from the world if you could? Would you use the opportunity of your suffering in this moment to release your body and mind from one more second of misery and to dedicate that to the welfare and freedom of everyone else? If yes, you are ready for this practice to work, and your commitment will make completion. And by the law of action, every time you do this work, you will either, one, get the complete result, or two, you will get closer. You have always had two initial choices that yield all other possibilities. One, you can close or open, or two, you can quit or keep going. By the time a pattern has become easy and automatic, you react without choosing. And identifying with the problem as you, I am anxious, or as your possession, I have anxiety, then this means it is embodied. You will not be able to think your way out of this. Understanding where it came from and why you are the way you are will not result in your freedom. Talking about this problem and how much suffering it has wreaked in your life will not diminish, but likely strengthen its detrimental impact. Once something is hardwired in your body, it requires an embodied aliveness that is greater than the energy of the problem, to outgrow and outshine, to disregard and literally overwrite the program such that it becomes obsolete. You can never change things by fighting the existing reality. Most people think we need to heal in order to thrive, when in fact we need to thrive in order to heal. Your choice to let go of the past, the reasons, the suffering, the stories, the explanations, the tensions, the misery, your reactions to the arising conditions in your life, and to express your authentic values regardless of the past, has absolutely nothing to do with the past. The reasons, the suffering, the stories, the explanations, the tensions, the misery, your reactions to the arising conditions in your life. A free choice is not a reaction to the suffering. It is only possible after a pause in the reactivity, from wherein you can choose, aside from the past, your reactions to the arising conditions in your life. This choice comes from your will to be free and your commitment to your best possible future, which you demonstrate through your expression of your values in the living moment, regardless of the past, the reasons, the suffering, the stories, the explanations, the tensions, and the misery, and your reactions to the arising conditions in your life. You do not need to hate your current job to choose a new one. Similarly, you do not need to reference or contrast choosing your values in the living moment against the past. In fact, if you are motivated as a reaction to the past, the reasons, the suffering, the stories, the explanations, the tensions, the misery, and your reactions to the arising conditions in your life, you are going to keep the pattern in play. If you are making better choices in reaction to the past, this might be a better trajectory and certainly is a good complementary approach to learning how to choose freely and outgrow the pattern altogether. Why just cope with suffering, though, when we can end it? Along the way, coping is great and necessary, but it's an entirely different order of magnitude better to no longer need to cope because the problem, as far as you are concerned, no longer exists. Your commitment is to that, to your life and to the future, and not to the dead past as being the driving force for how you think, feel, and act. You would rather choose your best future, life affirming and life positive, useful thoughts, feelings, actions, than you would rather continue to react the patterns and programs that are doing nothing for you except cause misery and make you sick and tired. Even if the past, the reasons, the suffering, the stories and explanations, the tensions, the misery, your reactions to the arising conditions in your life are valid, especially because you don't want to experience any more of that ever again. That's why you are committed to never again, not on my watch, to taking your power and choice back. Nothing and no one is worth you continuing to react in misery and the impact that has on your body, your mind, your emotions, your experience, your family, your friends, your community, and future. Letting go and expressing values are actions in the present moment that both improve your immediate environment and plant seeds for a better future. You are acting instead of reacting. You are choosing instead of being compelled. When you act on your own and you act on your future's behalf, you are demonstrating your commitment to your growth and freedom. If you have understood what I am sharing so far, you feel a passion in your soul to be free, and you are ready to act on your own behalf. You are now committed to releasing it once and for all. What are you releasing? The glues that keep it stuck. You don't like it, plus you do like it, equals stuck, plus resistance equals super stuck. One, you don't like it. That's aversion. All your judgments and blames and conclusions and stories and reasons and explanations why you don't like it, ironically, draw your attention to it, giving it power. This is glue. In Eastern spiritual philosophy, this is what is meant by aversion. You dislike it, you hate it, you condemn it, you want to get rid of it. You want to blame yourself, the present or the past, or others, the present or the past, the world, the present or the past, for causing it, all of which is inflaming it, even though it doesn't really exist, except in the harsh effect that you're fearing, fighting, avoiding, proving, and disproving it has on your body and mind. This is aversion. Two, the other glue, you like it, attachment. All of the payoffs you get for keeping it around, all the excuses it gives you to avoid taking responsibility, either for outgrowing it and letting it go, or for other things you want to avoid in your life. All the ways in which you assume you're right about it and why it is limiting your possibilities. All the ways in which you identify with it as an it and with you as a you that has it or is it. I have anxiety. Me plus it equals attachment. Anxiety is upon me. It plus me equals attachment. I am anxious. This is the super attachment, wherein one identifies as one with the upset. So the two, the me plus the it, have become one, giving it power, co-opting the body's survival mechanism to defend it with your life. When people identify their upset as who they are, They will become defensive at the suggestion of the possibility that they could be free from it. This is also why people experience the intensity of what feels like ego death when they attempt to make important positive changes in their lives, and why we resist what is better for us because we are attached. Remember, 1 plus 2 is only glue and is somewhat sticky, but adding 3 is super glue. Resistance is the super glue. Pain times resistance equals suffering. Pain is just pain. It may be more or less depending on the actual situation, but we ratchet it up with resistance. Exponentially, resistance is a multiplier. What are we resisting? We're resisting resourcefulness. We're resisting being open, which we mistake as vulnerable, to new and better options, which by definition are currently unknown, which we mistake as a source of fear rather than possibilities. We're resisting something new and fresh. Suffering is familiar, and we identify with it as how things are. And we even allow it to define us. It's just the way I am. I've always been this way. I am angry. We're resisting doing something new and to become someone new, a creative, created person that acts according to our values and choices rather than reacting according to everything else. We're resisting discomfort and challenge. Believe it or not, the suffering is convenient in that it gives you all the reasons you need to justify staying the same. We're resisting pausing and choosing and creating. The suffering is the default. It is automatic. It's reactive. You don't need to do anything. It will self-perpetuate. We can't choose if we don't pause first. Choosing is free selection after deliberation. And what do we need to pause? We need to pause our reaction. Why? So we have space to choose, to create something better. Responsibility. Our responsibility is to claim our responsibility to choose freely, regardless of past or arising conditions. Why just cope with suffering? Making a better, perhaps more societally functioning me with healthier attachments and aversions and more productive resistance levels when you can end suffering. So again, to be done with suffering is to remove the glues that keep it stuck. I don't like it, aversion. I like it, attachment, resistance. To change, newness, responsibility, discomfort, choice, freedom, and the unknown. The working principles here are 1, by accepting it, and that all of the above dynamics are at play, and that pain in life is hard enough, and there is no need to add the misery of suffering, begins to melt the superglue of resistance. By the time something is stuck, and definitely by the time something is super stuck, it is embodied. Thinking about it, talking about it, understanding it, figuring it out, cathartic emotions about it, i.e., everything you typically do at therapy, at the barbershop, or on the phone call with your girlfriends or boyfriends, will not result in freedom. All while all of these things could be steps towards freedom, they more often turn into stops and make more glue. To unstick something that is embodied requires an embodied approach. We are very good at fooling ourselves and living inauthentic lives using counterfeit approaches to fix fabricated problems, which only strengthens the fabrication. Thereby, we justify our belief in the veracity, tenacity, and realness, the necessity of the struggle. How do you know what's inauthentic and worthy making the effort to let it go? Well, again, would you inflict it on a child? Then why would you inflict on your body, which is in it also innocent? If you wouldn't inflict it on a child, you don't need it. That's a no, and time to let it go. How do you know what's authentic and worth choosing and creating? Would you gladly give it to someone you love? Would you mind if you had more of it, or if it was limitless? Would you be okay with having more joy? That's all a yes, and worthy of investing your values and choices in creating more and sharing the benefits with others and all. You were not born with this crap. It was all indoctrinated. And it was all indoctrination by and from those who were also indoctrinated, most of the time with good intentions. Look at it from the basic goodness that you are and let it melt away in the elixir of your love that knows that for sure where this belongs, nowhere, in no body, in no time, in no place. It is not your fault. It is your responsibility. Take care of your future self the way you would a child. The discipline is a commitment to your future self. You might as well make it a place worth loving, the future, which only you can do lovingly because soon you will be living there. There are many different iterations of clearing exercises. Now, this one is one I made up, drawing from the inspiration and instruction of my teachers. So please have two pens or pencils or something similar available for this exercise. Uh, I'm going to use my books because I forgot the pencils. If necessary, please pause the recording and get two small objects you can hold, one in each hand. Okay? First, let's practice extra and open attention. Invoke your resolve and commitment to be free from this misery so you can be open to new and better possibilities. Invoke your passion to be willing to eradicate this suffering from the face of the earth for the benefit of all if you could. Commit to creating a better future than this pattern, continually reenacted, would have in store for you. Consider that enough is enough and you are ready to be done and happy already. Dedicate that you're doing this practice is a demonstration of your commitment, and acknowledge that your commitment will bring completion. And by the law of action you are now activating, you can only either get the result or get closer. Commit to choosing to be open and to keep going. Place your attention in the sensations of your left hand. Consider all of the reasons and stories and images and sensations of why you don't like this and what you want to get rid of. Exaggerate it, build it up. All of the aversion, all while maintaining extra attention in your left hand. Pick up one of the pens and hold it in your left hand. Squeeze the pen, hold it tight. Use your will, imagination, intention, and encode the pen in your left hand with everything you hate about this miserable condition. Place your attention in the sensations of your right hand. Now consider all the reasons, the stories, the images, and sensations of why you are attached to this situation. Consider how right you feel about why you should, must, or ought to be upset about it. Consider how right you feel about who or what you blame for this causing this to happen to you. Think about all the past similar ways in which you have felt or experienced this suffering. Feel how it feels like a real thing that is causing you to feel a certain way. Consider how it feels like you, or at least a part of you, how it defines your life and seemingly forces you to think, feel, and act according to its dictates and demands. Think about all the excuses this pattern gives you for not showing up, not being the best partner or friend or parent you can be, not going to work or doing something you otherwise want to do. Think about whatever attention you get for this condition that you otherwise enjoy. Does being this way get you pity, love, adoration, empathy? Off the hook? Exaggerate it, build it up. Think about how long you've been this way and how you don't want to let go of the payoffs you get by continuing to react this way. All while maintaining your extra attention in your right hand. Pick up one of the pens and hold it in your right hand. Squeeze the pen and hold it tight. Use your will, imagination, and intention to encode the pen in your right hand with your attachment to everything you feel is right, mandatory, and necessary about why you are this way. Now place your attention in both hands simultaneously. Feel your grip on the pens at the same time. Consider your resistance to letting it go. Consider your resistance to showing up bigger, better, brighter, stronger, healthier, happier. Consider your resistance to choosing freely aside from this all. Aside from this condition, consider your resistance to the idea that you can simply stop doing this and think, feel, and act differently right now. Consider how much you resist the possibility that you can choose to be new, even if this has been around for a long time, even if it is attached to valid reasons. Now emphasize holding both pens and give them both a squeeze. Relaxing the squeeze, but still holding firmly, re-invoke your commitment to your future free from this misery for the benefit of yourself and others. Consider the following questions. Would I let this all go if I knew it was good for me? Would I let this all go if I knew it was good for others? Would I let this all go if I knew it was good for the world? Now, give the pens another squeeze. Hold the pens out in front of you with your fists with the palms facing down. Am I willing to let this misery go in order to make space for a better future. Now ask the question, when? Whenever it feels right, open your hands and drop the pens. Keep your hands and fingers splayed open as you bring your hands down to your sides. Allow any additional tensions to melt down your hands and down your arms and out your hands. You may also feel tensions releasing elsewhere in your body, such as around your eyes, your mouth, your neck, shoulders, your stomach, your groin, and out your feet. Now consider, what do I want more of in my life? What would I gladly give to a child or to someone I love? What would I be willing to have in limitless supply? And as a demonstration to your commitment to opening these possibilities more and more and creating what you value and choose, bring your palms together in front of you in the universal prayer position and smile if you are not smiling already. If you are already smiling, smile more. Notice any sense of integrity or cohesion as you say inside with your palms together. Together, together, together. Consider someone else that could use a smile in their life, using your will, your imagination, and intention. Generate sensations and send them some smile energy and see them receiving that, smiling with you, and in turn sharing that with others. With your hands together in prayer position, say to yourself, inside or out loud, by love, be now done. Open your eyes if they've been closed, feeling refreshed, renewed, and committed to the awesome future you value and choose. Love to all. Together we thrive.